Hello, I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown, and welcome to Fantasy Booking Warfare! The time is up, the time is now. It is time for our grand final of the Fantasy Booking Warfare tournament. Let's see each combatant's journey to the final. In the first round, Ollie defeated Alex, Queen of the Ring, and then took out his best friend, Luke Owen. Laurie Blake survived the incorrigible charm of Sullivan Bo Brown and demolished Steve and Larson. They are both now head to head. Laurie versus Ollie. Mr. Davis versus El Fakador. And what they'll be booking this time around is the road to and the card of an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view. Joining me for this, the grand final of the Fantasy Booking Warfare Tournament, in the blue corner, hailing from, I don't know where he's from originally, but currently residing in Manchester, England, it's Laurie Blake. And
yeah, me.
In the red corner, from I don't know, probably Buckinghamshire. He's a Tory. It's Oli Davis.
Yeah, the mean streets born and bred of Kent. The mean streets of Kent. Dartford.
So, obviously this is the most ludicrous of the fantasy bookings. This is pure pie in the sky, never going to happen. Did that free you up, or did it hem you in? Ollie.
It's too big, isn't it? It's too big a subject to do. And I think you'll find in the very few conversations me and Laurie have had, it's been, yeah, we book one or two matches, and then there's a bit of about a 30-second run where you go, and this is what else happens on the card. Boom, 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 boom. It's a lot of stuff to try and cram in. So you could either do it because you could either just do a rundown of the card, but how do you get there? That's the big thing. It's like, how do you get to a situation in which WWE goes, yeah, fine, we'll do a whole show with AEW?
Well, let's find out, shall we? Call it in the air, Laurie. Picture or quote?
Quote. It's the picture.
Ollie, would you like to go first or second?
First.
The lad's got confidence. Love to see it. All right, well, on this, the most auspicious of occasions, let's find out how Oli Davis would book an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view.
Act 1. The Forbidden Door. After months of building tension and counter-programming, AEW and WWE find themselves running shows in New York on the same week. So TNT makes a bold announcement for a very special episode of Rampage starting at its usual time of 10 p.m. but on Monday night, running head-to-head with the final hour of Raw. Rumours start to break that AEW is planning something big. Wrestlers from both companies indirectly start shooting on each other on Twitter. The first 2 hours of Raw are tense. Wrestlers in the ring keep looking over their shoulders. Then comes 10 p.m. and AEW Rampage just begins. It's a normal show until the final segment and CM Punk grabs the mic. He just stares directly down the camera for ages. The audience start to realise an AEW chant begins, and then Punk simply says, "I've got 2 words for you, fight us." He drops the mic and screams, "Oops, I'm breaking the 4th wall," and hits a spiteful crotch chop. Immediately, the atmosphere changes on Raw. You can see producers running along the stage. The feed cuts to a roving camera backstage. A bunch of WWE wrestlers are storming to the back because outside is a group of AEW wrestlers around a limo with the Elite standing up through the sunroof. A callback to the 2017 Raw Invasion or DX's own of WCW in the 90s. Only this time, it actually gets physical. The Elite drive away, leaving a mass brawl. Act 2. Forbidden no more. Cody Rhodes opens Dynamite 2 days later. He says AEW doesn't have to invade shows to prove they're the best. They do that week in, week out. So Monday was a one-off. But at the end of the show, production had been given a last-minute video to play. It's Triple H. He says Cody's right. AEW don't have to invade other shows. You don't have to smash a throne with a sledgehammer either. But you did. It seems to him Cody's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, so WWE would like to invite him to SmackDown this Friday to see if they can work this all out. On SmackDown, before he can even open his mouth, Cody is jumped by the Usos. Roman Reigns walks down the ramp slowly, watching Jimmy and Jay splash Cody's knee over and over again for Reigns to tell him, "You're not good enough to be in my ring." Cody comes out to close the next week's Dynamite, leg in a cast and tears in his eyes, and cuts a promo in only the way he can. WWE, you made my father dress up like a clown. You took his ideas with no credit. You took our name. But you know what you can never take? Our heart. Because McMahon doesn't have one. And no matter what promotion you gut, WCW, Ring of Honor, TNA, AEW, professional wrestling will always live somewhere in here. We challenge you for the heart of professional wrestling. The winner gets Dusty's legacy, my father's legacy, the pay-per-views he created, the matches he invented, which is why it's going to be 5 of our best versus 5 of yours in War Games. The AEW versus WWE Supercard pay-per-view Forbidden War is announced. For WWE, the player coach is taken by who else? The head of the table, Roman Reigns. Because of his injury, Cody will only captain AEW from the sidelines. Cody first recruits Jon Moxley because who would know Reigns better? So Roman adds his own Shield member, Seth Rollins, along with Big E. This is larger than personal feuds right now, so Reigns wants WWE's top champions fighting together. Cody knows the same, so reluctantly he asks AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. Kenny will only join with the Young Bucks by his side, and Cody gives in. Roman reacts by adding 2 wrestlers who are very familiar with the Elite, AJ Styles and Finn Balor. But AEW need one more guy. Cody wants it to be the heart of the company, Hangman Page. But Page, recently beaten by Kenny yet again, can't bear the possibility of letting people down. Meanwhile, the Punk vs Triple H feud is building back and forth. It's decided they will have a singles match on the pay-per-view, with the winner giving their company the advantage in the War Games main event. On the go-home show, Triple H and Punk finally have an in-ring promo together, a war of just words here, not getting physical, and the closing angle is the official lineup announcement for War Games. They take it in turns, with each person coming down separately to the ring. Heyman first announces WWE Chief Reigns, who enters, flanked by the Usos. Cody brings down Jon Moxley. Mox and Reigns stare each other down. Heyman welcomes WWE Champion Big E, flanked by the New Day, so Cody brings out the Young Bucks for their dream match face-off. Out comes Seth Rollins, making a tense Shield reunion with Finn Balor. Cody introduces AEW Champion Omega, who glares at Reigns' Universal title belt, and to cap off WWE's lineup, AJ Styles enters, with commentary putting over AJ and Kenny's history from Japan. Seth asks if Cody can count because AEW only have 4 wrestlers to WWE's 5. Rhodes, with a cast on his leg, steps forward and says, "Me." Seth immediately kicks Cody in his knee and the 2 teams brawl. Rhodes is helped to the side by medical staff. WWE have the numbers advantage. They're beating up Team AEW until Hangman's music hits, and he runs down to fight off Team WWE. He backs into Kenny, they stare at each other, and then fight alongside together. Buckshot Lariat V-trigger combo on Jey Uso. Page will be the 5th man, standing between Omega and the Bucks, the closing visual of both sides facing off in the ring. Chapter 3. Forbidden War. On the AEW vs WWE Supercard, Orange Cassidy beats Randy Orton with a technical pin from out of nowhere. Jungle Boy gets over in defeat to Brock Lesnar's open challenge. Darby Allin and Sting beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, where The Undertaker finally comes down for a Sting face-off afterwards, setting up a cinematic match down the line. Britt Baker beat Becky Lynch thanks to Sasha Banks' interference, and in the all-important CM Punk vs Triple H match, Hunter wins with a sledgehammer behind the referee's back. Team WWE now has the War Games advantage. And time to our main event. Roman and Seth start off trying to get Moxley to rejoin them. Curiously, he doesn't strike them, he goes for AJ and Finn instead, but it's a red herring, because by the end of the brutal, long match, it's not Moxley who turned. Everyone gets to their feet. It's a mirror image of that go-home angle. Team AEW in one ring, Team WWE in the other. But then, all of a sudden, with the element of surprise, Kenny and the Bucks start beating down Moxley and Paige, and AJ and Finn beat up Big E, Seth, and Roman. It's still 5-on-5, but it's no longer about promotional allegiance. It's about Bullet Club being for life. Kenny, the Bucks, AJ, and Finn Balor, too sweet over the ropes. Kenny pins Roman. The referee counts 1, 2, but Kenny sits up. He pretends to think and looks at Cody through the cage. He hits a one-winged angel on Hangman Page and lets AJ Styles get the win for Team WWE. Cody's screaming, "What have you done?" Kenny gets on the mic. "Oh, Cody, do you think I care about you and your daddy? I don't. Look, AJ's back. Finn's back. Bullet Club is for life for everyone but you and this sad cowboy here. We don't like you because the Elite, the Bullet Club, whatever you want to call us, we're bigger than AEW. We're bigger than New Japan. We're bigger than Impact. We're even bigger than WWE. Which brings me on to you, doggy boy." Kenny squats down to a struggling Roman. "While you've been sitting lazily at your table, I've been winning world title belts all around the world. And now, I'm coming for yours." The closing visual isn't of AEW or WWE standing tall, it's of the interpromotional poison within. The faction that sits on top of all of them, the Bullet Club.
Oli Davis injecting AEW with a lethal dose of poison.
I do it because I love you.
You know what hasn't been relevant in a few years? Bullet Club.
Bullet Club. People love Bullet Club.
Now, first of all, why did you cut off half of your head from the video? Was that some sort of in joke, like an Easter egg?
Again, my hair has grown a lot more than... It's like I don't know it's there. So I frame up for a receding hairline, but it's impeccable now. And yeah, a little bit cut off. And framing changed before I press record.
How proud were you of Forbidden War?
Oh my god. So it came to me and I worked backwards. I had this I went so far down this weird route of Edge tagging with Jeff Hardy against Matt Hardy and Christian Cage. And it was intergender rules where only Matt could face... Yeah. Matt could face Edge. So that the old tag teams couldn't face each other. You had to tag out when the other tag was made.
So I'll be honest, man. I liked a lot of it, and the stuff of it I liked a lot. Forbidden War, I liked the War Games. For me, the icing on the cake was Cody's legacy. He's such a emotional kind of it's always been about the name, about the emotion behind the name, about the kind of emotion underneath the branding. So the idea of putting that on the line is incredible. I really thought you were going to turn Cody heel. Really, really did.
It's never happening.
No. Why should it? Why would it? Laurie, do you have any thoughts?
I enjoyed leveraging Cody but having him barely involved. That was good. Like, here's all the emotional weight, but we're going to cripple you, Cody, so that you can't do any wrestling, because really no one wants to see that. That's good. Yeah, Bullet Club was a heck of a swerve.
Did you see it coming, though?
Very 5 years ago. No, it's great. No, it's really good. People love Bullet Club still.
And now, to close out this grand final, let's find out how Laurie Blake would book an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view.
So for ease, I'm going to pick things up at the AEW Dynamite anniversary show, where we're going to take some Tipex and just change one tiny bit of history. That casino ladder match doesn't include a Joker, and it's Jon Moxley who wins and earns the opportunity to go after Kenny Omega's AEW World Championship. In the match, Gian lets up all of the pent-up frustration at losing the title in the first place. Paradigm shift, but the Bucks at ringside drag the ref's attention away as Adam Cole slides into the ring and lays in a last shot to the back of Moxley's head while he's in the cover. Cole drags Kenny over 1, 2, 3, and Kenny retains the AEW Championship. Post-match, the Bucks continue the beatdown on Mox, taking him out to ringside and laying into him with the help of Gallows and Anderson, and Kenny is celebrating in the ring, holding the title aloft when he turns right into a super kick from Adam Cole. Boom. Kenny goes down and the Bucks, Gallows and Anderson turn, shocked at what just happened, and slide into the ring staring down Cole. And Cole just smiles as the four begin to bear down on him because they're jumped from behind by Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, the Undisputed Era, who take out all four guys with leaping knee strikes, axe kicks, spinning heel kicks, and Cole nails a super kick to Matt Jackson, and as all four men crumple to the floor, Cole takes off his Adam Cole AEW t-shirt to reveal the original Undisputed Era t-shirt underneath. He grabs the AEW Championship, and the four men begin to make their way out of the arena through the crowd, making sure to blow a kiss to Tony Khan, who ran down to ringside when things started to seemingly go off script. On Raw, Adam Cole returns to WWE with the AEW Championship in his hand and receives a hero's welcome. He says he never truly quit WWE. The opportunity just came up for him to show just how dedicated to the cause he was by going over to AEW as an inside man, and biding his time until he could strike and leave with their precious championship and take it and put it where it belongs. He then drops it into the trash on live TV. He was an Adam Mole, baby. So before the next Dynamite, Tony Khan and the AEW crew are basically begging Cole to come to the show and return their title to them. Cole agrees to go, saying that he should be allowed to speak, but if anything happens to him while he's there, they will have the belt destroyed. He gets a mic for story time with Adam Cole, baby, and he says, "Did you really think that I would come here and join up with these so-called friends of mine? Don't think I've forgotten what you did to me, and don't think I didn't see every time you made a little joke out of me on your YouTube show or on TNT. Meanwhile, I was busting my ass in NXT, putting on some of the best wrestling matches on the planet. In fact, you guys are obsessed with me. You're obsessed with WWE because you know that none of you could ever really make it there. And so you joke and you poke fun because that's all you can do, because you will never make it in the big leagues. I mean, your old pal Cody tried and he had to have a tantrum on a polystyrene throne about it when he couldn't. And don't even get me started on Moxley, that talentless hack. Moxley's music hits, and he starts making his way out through the crowd. But he is jumped by the Undisputed Era, who give him a serious beating before making their getaway too. And on Rampage, even more ex-WWE guys are taken out by invading WWE talent. Miro, Pac, FTR, Ruby Soho, and Chris Jericho, who takes a punt from Randy Orton to put him on the shelf. The next week sees Tony Khan and a bunch of the AEW roster turn up to confront WWE on SmackDown. Tony gets on the mic and says that he believes competition is good for wrestling, but this is taking things too far. He knew that Vince liked to run the competition out of business, but this is just illegal. You've stolen our property, attacked our performers, and we want retribution. Now, at the sound of their name, Mason T. But I'm just kidding, they don't come out. This outburst actually makes Vince appear. Vince says, "Tony, I will do to you what I did to WCW, what I did to ECW. I will break you down and then I will buy you out. Because unlike you, Tony, I don't have to ask my daddy for money. And he says, so I'm offering any of you in that ring right now the chance to join the big leagues. I will pay double what he is offering. Otherwise, I'm going to buy this company out from underneath you soon enough, and you will never work in this business again. And a moment of doubt crosses the faces of the assembled AEWs. Matt Hardy leads the family office to Vince's side. The Acclaimed head over. Serena Deeb, Jade Cargill, Ethan Page, and the Factory, they all jump ship. The rest hold their ground until Vince says, Bryan. Daniel Bryan. Think about your wife. Think about your kids. Things ended well between us, so I don't want you to be on the wrong side of this. This conflicted look crosses Bryan's face as he steps through the ropes, and he reluctantly joins Team WWE. And Tony says, whoa, you must be scared if you're offering out big pay packets, if you're poaching our talent and trying to wipe us off the face of the earth. You must see us as serious competition. Vince laughs. He says there's sleep and every other thing in the world, but not you guys are our competition. Tony says, that's great then. So you wouldn't be afraid if I said, why don't we just do one event to settle this? WWE versus AEW. You win and I will sell my company to you. We win and you give us back our championship and you leave us in peace. Vince chuckles once more. And he agrees. Fast forward to the show itself. It's 7 matches to decide the fate of AEW. AEW starts strong, winning the opening contest as Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay best Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks, while that trio are inevitably infighting. But Bray Wyatt's Fiend, who in my fantasy world is still with WWE at this point, trashes Darby Allin. The Lucha Bros reform their partnership with Eddie Kingston in order to take on the New Day in a ladder match. The New Day lads are obviously gracious in defeat. Britt Baker comes a cropper though when she goes up against Becky Lynch, because big time decks Britt after a really close match. A battered and bruised Moxley takes on Roman Reigns next as the Black Sheep of the Shield introduces Roman to his wheelhouse, the no-holds-barred match. But obviously, the Bloodline are there to make the save for Roman, tying Mox up with barbed wire so that Roman can spear him through one of those AEW poker chip branding things at ringside and win. That's 3-2 to WWE. Now in the build-up to the show, Sammy Guevara had called out Randy Orton for what he did to Jericho, and this led to Vince booking the Inner Circle's Guevara, Santana and Ortiz against his new Authority faction. Randy Orton, Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan. Bryan has interestingly been forced to wear one of those goofy Survivor Series-esque WWE branded t-shirts by Vince as some sort of penance for consorting with the enemy. Inner Circle are fired up though and start to overwhelm the new Authority until Corporate Kane, resurrected in all of his back office beauty, hits the ring nailing Sammy Santana on Ortiz while the ref isn't looking, and then he holds out his arms for a hug with former tag partner Bryan, the only one left standing from Team WWE. Bryan holds out his arms too, before launching into a running knee, standing up and peeling off the WWE t-shirt to reveal a perfectly plain white t-shirt underneath, the uniform of Bryan Danielson. Danielson gets Guevara up, levels Orton with a running knee, allowing Sammy to hit the 630 for the win. Bryan was a reverse mole. Bryan Mollison. So now it's 3-0 and it all comes down to this. The final match is the Elite, Kenny and the Bucks plus Cody. This outside drama being enough for them to reform that relationship temporarily against the Undisputed Era. UE come out with the AEW Championship all spray painted up in their logo, kind of like the NWO, and they all take turns playing air guitar on it as they go down the thing. Kyle O'Reilly is obviously the best at it. Kenny is pissed at the sight of this and the Best Bout machine kicks into overdrive, but in the closing stretch the referee is knocked down and out comes Triple H with a sledgehammer to attack the Bucks and brawl with Cody to the back, leaving Kenny in there with the entire Undisputed Era, who swarm him. Kyle and Bobby hold his arms in place as Cole lines up for the last shot. But ye Here comes Hangman Adam Page, who flips into the ring, nailing Cole with a buckshot lariat as he runs the ropes for the last shot. Page and Kenny then brawl back to back to fend off the Undisputed Era, giving Kenny the space to land a one-winged angel on Cole and win the day for AEW. All of the roster come out to celebrate, and WWE leave with their tail between their legs. Post-match, Kenny offers a handshake to Hangman, but he shoves the title into Kenny's arms, saying, "Can't win it if it ain't here." And he rides off into the sunset, by which I mean he walks through the crowd, probably drinking a beer on his way. Woo, Hangman!
Huge fan again of, like, is it 2014 again? Corporate Kane!
Yeah, no, it's just because I wanted the Authority to be represented. I just wanted to do the Daniel Bryan thing. I thought of the t-shirt thing and worked backwards.
So, interestingly enough, I thought that was very, very good. I liked a lot of the build. I'm in a sort of converse place where I am with Ollie's, because I actually prefer Ollie's card, but I prefer your build, which is interesting because Ollie puts forward like WWE versus AEW as the main event, which is literally like he Survivor Series it, which is all the top guys versus all the top guys. Whereas you have gone for, which makes sense very much from a thematic level, of all the top AEW guys versus all the top NXT guys.
I thought it was really good. It was very funny. The Bryan Danielson, because that was a very good joke. I thought there was going to be an AEW t-shirt, but the white t-shirt really, really tickled me. I thought the Adam Cole term was really, really good. And the Page, like the final beat of the Page thing, that's why he fought. That's perfect for his character. You did, however, and this is the only thing I didn't like actually, just because it goes against my rule, Tony Khan becomes an on-screen character. Because it's fantasy booking, but I don't think fantasy booking is going to make Tony Khan a good promo.
That's true. He doesn't talk very much though. He talks quite earnestly in mind. It's not Vince is the one doing the drama. Tony is just there to deliver like a couple of lines that are emotional.
I think you could have had all that just with Cody. Just replace Tony with Cody.
You can see how much I booked around Cody as much as possible.
Cody.
I also tried to book mostly without using ex-WWE guys. Yeah. So I kept Moxley in because I thought he was kind of the biggest name, and obviously Bryan. And then I tried to avoid everyone else and write them out of the story. So it was ideally going to be AEW talent versus WWE talent in that finals.
I think they're both interesting. I don't know how to come down. Like Corporate Kane versus Bullet Club. How do you choose? A real Sophie's choice. But thankfully, it's not up to me. It's up to you, the PFK universe. Head on over to our community tab on our YouTube channel and vote on who you thought booked it better. Was it Laurie Blake's intense Adam Mole Bebe storyline? That was very, very good. Very good indeed. Or was it Oli Davis's blockbuster MCU style Civil War, which incongruously ended with the Bullet Club reforming?
It's still good. The Elite
oh no, there's another big
around.
bad. The little orange circle opens up and out walk the Bullet Club.
On your left.
On your left. But it's both very interesting takes. But which take did you prefer? Who is going to be crowned the Fantasy Booking Warfare champion and receive, what did they get, Ollie?
I don't know, actually.
£500 cash.
Yeah, and the title of King Bookah.
There you
what
go.
The tax implications are of me giving myself a prize.
It's embezzlement, isn't it?
Monetarily.
It's embezzlement, isn't it? Don't you have a word for it?
What if you've got proof of the prize? He did he might have legitimately won a competition.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, let's see how it goes. I'll ask the accountants.
Who's going to get £500 cash? Let's find out. Well, we'll be announcing the results at some point, probably next week. Probably. Yeah.
All right, bye.